republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Gerardo Anaya.
Present.
Mayor Jesus Roldan.
Present.
Councilmember Miguel Villalpando.
Present.
Councilmember Luis Galindo.
Present.
Councilmember Martha Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilmember Juan Castillo. Councilmember Lorena Delgadillo. Mayor, you have a quorum. Whereas libraries provide the opportunity for everyone to pursue their passions and engage in lifelong learning, allowing them to live their best life. Whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity of access for all. Whereas libraries adapt to the ever-changing needs of their communities, continually expanding their collections, services, and partnerships. Whereas libraries play a critical role in the economic vitality of communities by providing internet and technology access, literacy skills, and support for job seekers, small businesses, and entrepreneurs. Whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. Now, therefore, I, Gerardo Anaya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, proclaim April 23 to the 29th, 2023 as National Library Week. During this week, I encourage all residents to visit their library to explore the wealth of resources available. Whereas approximately 4 million reports are made to Child Protective Services nationally. And whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. And whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of the City of Somerton. And whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse. And whereas protective factors are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnerships created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. Now, therefore, I, Gerardo Anaya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, do hereby proclaim April 2023 as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in Somerton, and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families.
Mayor, we have Tori and Ms. Carla Garcia from Ambulance Place. Chief, come on.
Mayor Anaya and council members, thank you so much for the opportunity to just speak to you briefly tonight about an important issue. My name is Tori Borganon. I'm the director of Amberley's Place, and I have with me your Somerton advocate, Carla Garcia, whose office is graciously in the Somerton Police Department and who works diligently to serve the citizens of Somerton daily. And then I also have Melissa Navarrete and Joanna Rojas, who are also victim advocates. I come before you tonight to say a couple of things. One is that the proclamation talked about 4 million reports being made to child protective service organizations across our nation. Anybody want to guess how many victims of child abuse Amberley's Place served in the year 2022? There were 940 primary and secondary victims of child abuse. That includes physical abuse and sexual abuse that came through our center and received services from our organization last year. That's too many. That's way, way, way too many. We definitely appreciate the fact that this is Child Abuse Prevention Month rather than Awareness Month, because it takes a village. It takes all of us, our entire communities, to look after the safety and well-being of our children. And so thank you for allowing us to take some time tonight to read this proclamation, but more importantly, to recognize as a community that we still have a whole lot of work to do, and we value and appreciate the partnership that we have with the City of Somerton. Going forward, we appreciate your efforts. So thank you. Any questions for me? Thank you so much for your time.
Whereas the Civil Rights Act of 1968, commonly known as the Federal Fair Housing Act, and the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988 prohibit discrimination in the sale, rental, leasing, and financing of housing or land to be used for the construction of housing or in the provision of brokerage services on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin. And whereas the 1968 and the 1988 Federal Fair Housing Acts declare that it is a national policy to ensure equal opportunities in housing. And whereas April has been traditionally designated as Fair Housing Month in the United States. Now therefore, I, Gerardo Anaya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Fair Housing Month in the City of Somerton, and do hereby urge all citizens of this community to comply with the letter and the spirit of the Fair Housing Law.
Second, Mayor.
Councilwoman Delgado, second by Vice Mayor Ordaz.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
All right, Hector's pointing to me, so I'll take it. So this was Bird the Scooter company that we had in the city of Somerton. The contract came up, and so that's why you didn't see the scooters. The scooters were gone. So I was wondering where the scooters went. So I reviewed it with Marlene and of course now Hector. And so this is a contract. It's the same contract as last time. They want to come back to Somerton and provide that opportunity for our residents to move around in our community. We think that in August, when the high school is open, that's probably going to be a popular thing for the students, maybe getting to their homes or moving around our community. But this is just for approval to continue the scooter program here in Somerton until December of 2024.
Report that, was it used a lot or, can we get something about that?
And we're going to look into the report. We did not receive that, to my understanding, but that's something that we wanted to just to see if it was being utilized. What we did do is I did follow up with PD and fire department, see if there was any issues or concerns with the use or of these scooters. We had none. It seemed like it was going well, but we will follow up and have them give us at least for the last 6 months that when they were here the first time, provide those numbers and we'll get them to mayor and council.
Oh, thank you very much.
Mayor, if I may. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. My concern is still the same one as previously. We're letting them use a city right away. Is there a fee that we're collecting for this, Louis?
Not currently, no, council member. This was, to my understanding, more of a convenience for our residents. So it was
Well-
an additional amenity.
Well, the first time it was brought up and we discussed it, and we had they did disclose that they're paying other communities a fee for using a right of way. And again, we charge for our right of way with the cable companies, electric companies, gas companies. We charge a franchise fee, and I think it's only fair for us to be compensated, even if it's a small amount, but especially when they're already paying other communities for this. It's not even a service that they're providing. It's a business.
And council member, we can easily look into that and table this. And if that's the direction, we can request and see if that would be something that we could work with them on and get back and come back to mayor and council. My understanding, this is more of an amenity for the community, but again, we can have that conversation with the Bird company on that.
Any other questions or comments?
And Mayor, we did strike out language on the agreement where I think they wanted exclusivity. And obviously the city isn't prepared to give having them be the sole provider that any other company wishes to come in, they have the same ability to do so.
Well, and I would give them exclusive rights if it was done through an RFP or RFQ process. That's why they want exclusive rights, but yet they don't want to pay to do business here in Somerton when everybody else that's doing business, they pay.
And council member, we can definitely, if mayor and council wish, we can look at that and bring that back to you.
Any other questions or comments? Entertain a motion, either to table or to approve or
Make a motion to table this line item until staff is able to provide that information that Councilman Villalpando is requesting.
Second.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Delgadillo, second by Councilwoman Gonzalez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. So, yeah, so bring it back. See.
Will do.
Yeah, so let's see what other cities are doing and if we can, at least the cities around us and maybe we can negotiate that same agreement.
And also, Louis, hopefully you have that report by the time and we can see.
Yeah, we'll definitely, when we come back with that updated information, we'll make sure to get that report also, hopefully even earlier than that.
Item number 2, discussion and possible action to approve payment for APS charges in the amount of $32,851.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The item before you is a request to approve a payment for APS charges in the amount of $32,851 to provide electrical power, service, and streetlights installation to Parkview Commerce Center. The Parkview Commerce Center is a commercial subdivision that the City of Somerton is building. We have to provide all the infrastructure and the services. Everything is ready. The contractor has already installed all the underground conduits and pretty much everything is ready. Just waiting for APS to install the street lights and energize that system. However, we need council's approval to pay APS for those charges. So attached to this item is the estimate, the cost estimate that APS has provided to the city, and this is in the amount of $32,851.09. The financial impact for this has been budgeted under the Parkview Commerce Center budget line item. And just to remind council that all the infrastructure expenses that are included in the Parkview Commerce Center will be reimbursed by the developers once we finish and we pass these amounts down to the developers. Any questions from council?
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Make a motion, Mayor, to approve the $32,851 with 09 cents.
So motion by Vice Mayor Roldan,
Second, Mayor.
second by Councilman Galindo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 3, discussion of possible action to approve increase in price for 2 new 2023 Ford F-150 police trucks.
Mayor and council, good evening. Before you, to seek an approval for a price adjustment on 2 vehicles that were brought to us with a price adjustment. So the explanation that was given to us from the agency was due to the microchip and the microchip shortage, major disruption in supply, and the lingering COVID effect. We weren't able to secure 2 of the 222 vehicles as we had previously agreed on. So they had to provide us 2 2023s and make it, we're seeking a price adjustment of 11,000, where's my total here? 11,873 and 72. So we are hoping that we're able to obtain that money through one of the line items from the police department, 105437, which is other services, in hopes that you will also agree to reimburse or return that money once we do all the auctions for the vehicles. We're looking at least over $11,000 in auctions of vehicles that were either impounded into the police department or some vehicles that were forfeited and other vehicles that belong to the city of Somerton. So that's what I have.
Any questions or comments?
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman Villalpando.
Yes, Chief, were you able to look at the RFP or the RFQ that you guys piggyback on? I believe it was through the state to make sure that that they are allowed to collect extra funding, because it's hard to believe that they didn't honor the price that they had agreed to.
Councilmember Villalpando, I wasn't privy to some of the transactions that were being done. This was something that was talked about back and forth and agreed upon from the purchasing agent that was here previously to the new finance director.
Well, if that's the case, then my
Yeah.
suggestion, at least while I'm in council, I won't approve for us to piggyback on any more state bids. If this type of stuff is happening, I'd rather buy them locally. I'm sure you would have gotten probably the same price here locally.
Councilmember and Mayor, Ms. Rosa would like to add some words to this.
Have a comment. We had the city attorney, George, look at it. I would defer to George to answer your question.
Yes, Mayor and Council, the short answer to this on the legal side is that we have the vehicles already, they were delivered. And it's really disadvantageous to the city to get them back if we were not to approve the purchase. That's one. And the other one is the liability that the city faces in the event that one of our emergency vehicles doesn't respond, and we have the new ones already in stock and we're not using them. So I think from that perspective, the $11,000 to get state-of-the-art 2023 trucks versus the 2022s that we entered into an agreement with, I think outweighs the liability. And to answer Mr. Villalpando's questions, I think none of us here, the new finance director or the new manager or myself, really were too involved with the past finance director, the past manager, and the purchasing agent at that time. And that's why I attached the air form that council approved back on September of 2021, so that you can see where council approved the purchase of not just these these 2 vehicles, but 8 total vehicles for the city.
But the question was if that's allowed by our contract that the piggyback, was it something that you reviewed?
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, no, the answer to that is no. I did not review.
Great.
My understanding was that this was a purchase order through the state contract that they had at the time.
Yes, correct.
And like I said, Mayor, if I may, for me, I will never piggyback on anything for the state when staff presents it, because obviously they didn't look at the contract already in place. So we probably could have saved ourselves that money. But regardless, I agree with the attorney that the public safety comes first. But I still think that staff should have done their part in looking at those contracts and advised us and given us the option whether we wanted to proceed or no, we could have backed out. That's a call that council makes, not staff.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion? A motion by Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Roldán. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
Gonna move some recurring events.
So Mayor, we're going to try something new, and I asked department directors if they had anything updated that wasn't on the department monthly report or updates that I provided you. They're able to come up and speak. We have nothing at this time for you, unless Mayor and Council have any questions.
Councilman Villalpando.
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Just to thank the city for the opportunity that we had to attend the National League this past week. It was very informative, a little bit of an adventure coming back, but nonetheless, thank the city for the opportunity.
Better coming back or better going to see the senators? Councilwoman Delgadillo.
I attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new veterinary clinic, and I'm really glad that I'm not a pet owner, but I know that a lot of residents are. So I'm really happy to see this new veterinary clinic here in our community, which we've never had. So it's the first one in history. So thank you, Hector, for being there and putting this together. So that's all I have.
Councilman Galindo.
Councilwoman Garcia said, Diego Gonzalez, thank you for the opportunity given us to attend the City of Leaks. I think we got a lot of good information out of it, and we mingle with other people from the state and out of the state. And, you know, new ideas that we can implement and bring back to our community. So thank you.
Vice Mayor Roland.
I guess same as both council members, you know, it was a good experience. We get to see our senators and at the same time Congressman Grijalva and talk about projects and grants and things that we can get from them. So, you know, it was a good, I guess, conference. And at the same time, you know, you meet other people, you talk to different cities in Arizona that maybe are doing the same projects or new projects that we can piggyback on that.
Yeah, and the big thing about this conference, I think it shows with the infrastructure plan, how much funding there is for projects for the cities, and so that's something that I think as staff, we need to prepare for, having shovel-ready projects, identify those projects that fit into the parameters that they have, and it's wastewater and water conservation, electricity, and if we can somehow fit those projects into those boxes, and there is a lot of funding that are, and the what they were pointing is that they want to expedite those funds. So they have the funding and they want to be able to facilitate our communities. And we have very good relationships with senators and congressmen here in Arizona, and they're willing to help. So that's probably something that we need to start looking at as staff more into those type of fundings. And we did enter the downtown redevelopment, and they spoke very highly of it. So I'm hoping that here in the next coming months, we hear that, you know, we get that funding, because both the Congress and the senators were looking at that project. So we can start looking at the other projects that we've been talking for economic development or for development, the lift stations and all that, like that fits that funding, and especially our community that's a low-income community and urban, rural, then we fit into those monies they wanted to inject into our community. So something that we need to start planning and working towards that. It's 7:32, meeting's adjourned.